Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to show you some of the things that I use in my day-to-day life to help my life make it a little bit easier. We're going to show you all a few little odds and end things. And let me know down in the comment section below what are some things that you use to make your day-to-day journey a little bit easier. I found that a lot of things that I use are stuff that we've come up with on our own. A lot of that stuff you buy, I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't really work very well. Or it's not, yeah, maybe if I just got adjusted to it, I guess. But a lot of things are just stuff I've made or make use of to make it just a little bit easier.
Well, in the past, you did have like the little pencil holder thing where you could do the pencil thing and the food thing.
Yeah, but it was like the thing for the pencil they had made was like so big and so clunky.
Yeah.
And what it did was it actually squeezed my fingers together to actually be able to hold a pencil. I was like, I can do that with this. I just shove a pencil up in there and go do whatever I need, whether it's type on the keyboard or write or anything really. But this to me works a lot better than some of the equipment they've given me in the past.
Yeah, like I say, just because they say it's adaptive equipment doesn't mean that it's adaptive equipment. Sometimes you wind up spending more than, and you can get by with it cheaper.
Yeah. Or make your own stuff a lot of times.
Yeah.
But, like I said, let me know what are some things that you use in your day-to-day life that makes your life a little bit easier. It doesn't necessarily have to be something you bought. Maybe it's something you made. Maybe it's something I can make use of in my own life.
So this is Heath's wheels on his wheelchair. They have like little pegs on them. And that's why he wears his gloves, because it helps him push. You want to push some, Heath? So that's how he pushes. Yeah, and pushes back and forth. And Ollie is playing. So that's how his wheelchair looks, like the wheels on him. And he wears the gloves to protect his hands. So would you like to tell them more of why you wear gloves?
Well, when I first got hurt and I was at rehab, they gave us the chair I had back then had like rubber straps around the rims instead of actual pegs. And since I don't have any finger uses or anything like that, I couldn't like grab it. I know there are a lot of quads out there that don't use or don't wear gloves, but me personally, I've just gotten used to wearing them over the years. And they also provide me some assistance for doing things. Like, for example, when I use a mouse on the keyboard, a mouse and keyboard and stuff like that, I use like the back of my hand to be able to use the mouse and stuff. And then also it protects my hands from pushing. I'm actually missing the peg covers. As you can tell, this chair is actually pretty old. But I'm missing the peg covers because when Ollie was a puppy, Ollie would actually pull the peg covers off and chew them up and run through the house. So I never did put them back on because...
Yeah, we had a scare also where we had to take Ollie to the vet, and they thought, from what they described, was a piece of his wheelchair
a piece
cover.
Of my peg cover, yeah.
Yeah, and we had an expensive vet bill. That was back when I was working.
Yeah, it was like $500 for them to run that scope down his throat to check his stomach to make sure he hadn't swallowed it.
It wound up to be like $1,000 in all, I think.
Yeah, it was expensive.
A little over $1,000. So that is why he wears gloves. Like he said, it helps provide assistance with things like his computer. The glove, let me go over here. So this is like a splint.
Yeah, my splint.
Wait a minute. So this is like a splint that he puts on top of his gloves, and he will put a pencil inside of it.
Y'all can see the little hole.
Yeah, it's a little hole.
I got my thumb
and he puts the pencil, and so that's how he types
with
the keyboard. Yeah. So that is why he uses that and wears gloves. I know you notice a lot of quads don't wear gloves, and they don't have these on their wheelchair.
I'm actually going to be getting a new wheelchair soon. If I got to make the appointment. Yes, I know that I got to make the appointment with a physical therapist so I can get it started and the whole process done. And I'll be getting a new wheelchair. I'm going to try a new system out instead of these like pegs on the rims and stuff like that. I'm going to be trying a new system out that's got assistance when I push, because now that I've gotten older, I've got a lot of shoulder problems and stuff like that. And it really hurts sometimes to be able to push and just do things. So any little bit of assistance to kind of give me some guidance so I can, get around a lot better. I do have an electric wheelchair, but I've never had one that was really like extremely comfortable
Yeah.
because they don't give like this chair. Like if you notice, I mean, I wiggle a lot anyway, and I've always like squirmed a lot. If you ever notice in a lot of other videos, I constantly do this, or I move it up like this and stuff like that. It's not really so much that I'm uncomfortable. I just got into the habit of moving a lot, I guess, and so I can't really do that in an electric chair because I feel so confined in an electric chair. So I'm gonna try a new like power assist system on the new chair to be able to help me get around and move around.
So now that he's older, he has a lot of more shoulder pain and all that.
And also, I do have a tear in my rotary cuff that from a few years now, and I don't want to damage it anymore because I don't want to have surgery on it. Because most of the people I know that have had shoulder surgery like that, it may help some, but in some cases, it's just as bad, if not worse, than the initial problem of not having a surgery.
And I will say, it's hard for me with these type of wheels to get close to him. Like when we're doing YouTube videos,
Yeah.
if I kind of have to have something in between us because it hurts like
Pokes her
the
in
devil.
pokes her
Yeah,
in the
they
thigh,
are
pokes her
like,
in the butt.
well, they don't have the cushion things on
Yeah.
them, so that also makes it very uncomfortable. And when I was younger, I didn't have a problem with it, but it might be my skin's more sensitive in my thigh. Like we did a video where I was like really close,
Yeah.
and I was super uncomfortable the whole time. Remember? I think it was our wedding one. And I was very uncomfortable, like I was literally hurting in my side because they were just poking in my side.
It could also show them the door frames too. So hopefully we won't have issues with me. I hit the door frames constantly.
Yes, let me show you our door frames. So these are fairly new. So this door frame looks okay, but my paint job that I recently did looks very bad, like very bad. Ollie's licking my arm, so he's making my camera move. So yeah, he messed that up. And see, if you look kind of close, you can see how that's the downside. He's like, if you look real close, you can see where I painted over what he messed up. So this is the door frame coming out of our study going into the kitchen. And you can see where the pegs has just tore up our doors. And I try not to let it upset me because I know he can't help it, but I would really love for him to be able to get a wheelchair. Our doors are what, 36 inches? 34? Oh, they're 34. So his wheelchair should get past it good. We recently had Ollie. I need you out the way. Ollie. So we recently had this door installed. It's our back door that we use a lot, and you can see where his wheelchair has like really destroyed the wood and stuff. But like I say, he really cannot help it. So this is the old study, and this is what the wood looks like. Like I say, once I start painting it, once I start painting, I'm just gonna paint over it. I mean, I'm not even gonna worry about it. It's nothing that can't be fixed or whatever. But that's the drawback from having these types of wheelchair rims. And then I don't know if you can see, but this is the door going into our junk room where his wheelchair has kind of tore it up. Stuff like that. And I know, like I say, I know he can't. I don't want people to say, oh, well, he's in a wheelchair, he can't help it. But you know, you see, like, this is how it looks, and you can see where we kind of got a little bit. This is recently. I need to vacuum that. And then this is the door. And it's an old door. It's probably the original door from the house. So, yeah, I mean, he can't help it, but it would be great to have nice door frames. And maybe that makes me a bad wife for saying that. I know he can't help it. But that's that's the downside to having the pegs. And maybe that's why a lot of people in wheelchair don't have them. I notice a lot of quads don't. So with the doors, our doors do get tore up because of the pegs on your wheelchair. So that's one downside. I don't like it, but I don't try to fuss about it because I'm just like kind of, I don't know what the word is, but I'm kind of funny about things.
I don't know.
Yeah, so our doors do look kind of bad. So hopefully when you get the new wheelchair, our doors will be nice and smooth.
Nice and crisp. So we have to go back, sand them down and paint them all.
Yeah. So, no, I just paint over them. I don't even worry about it. I mean, like, sanding them down because they're just going to eventually, like, just get tore up again. So, like, when we showed you our bedroom door, I'm just going to probably just go over it with paint and touch it back up so it'll look nice
that one door behind us over there, I'd actually hit it with my electric wheelchair. I actually hit it with my electric wheelchair, and I actually almost tore the whole entire door frame out of the frame with my electric wheelchair. I don't know how I managed to do that, but we finally did get it fixed. We got somebody to put it back together.
And I know you mentioned your electric wheelchair. I thought maybe one day we can do when he does get in it because he rarely gets in it.
Yeah.
Like do electric wheelchair versus manual wheelchair or something. We thought it would be good to do this type of video for this month because it's raising awareness of spinal cord injury and what goes on behind the scenes with it and stuff. And so whatever works for people, it works,
Exactly.
And so it's just worked for us. And you got to think that's 22 years of you constantly going in and out of those doors and stuff. So I don't want people to think that I'm fussing because he can't help it. And it would be different if he literally could help it. He was just tearing doors up to be tearing doors up. But that's one thing I do wish about his wheelchair, that it didn't tear my door frames up. But it's all good. I mean, we laugh about it and stuff. You just can't help it. Maybe Heath can link like his gloves and his splint where you can find it, and also maybe link.
I can shoot some links for that.
I think you can get it like at your a medical supply stores where you get it, or like where you buy your wheelchairs at. You can talk to them and stuff. But I will say the downside about the pigs is, again, that they do tend to tear your doors up. But with Ollie, the reason they don't, I mean, it wasn't as bad without the pig. When the pigs was on there, the little, it's like this foam, and it kind of protects, I guess, everything. I do remember when the guy redid our bedroom and our roof, and he did our little hallway because we had some carpet worn out. He did say he did this with his wheelchair, and I was laughing because it just seemed like he was saying that he did it on purpose. I don't think that's how he meant it, but I was like, yeah, he does it. And his wife was like, well, honey, you have to look at it. He was in a wheelchair. And he was it just flabbergasted him that our door frames was tore up like that. Like, he was like, he did this with his wheelchair? And I was like, yeah, that's the downside but he uses the peg rim for his wheelchair, so you got to look at those pegs are going in and out, because like our doors are like 34 inches except the one door.
No, I was wrong. They're not 34 to 32 inches.
32 inches?
Except for the bedroom and the back door and the new door. They're all 36.
Yeah, in the bathroom. But they still get tore up.
Yeah, the bathroom.
I mean, the bathroom, I could have showed you it, but I freshly, like I said, in April, I freshly painted that because that was when we had some remodeling done. So, I mean, you're not going to see what it actually looks like. But one thing about it, it does scare me because we have hollow doors.
Yeah.
So if he hits it, it's just going to bust the door. And so the only door that is solid wood is this barn door back here. Yeah. And so it's okay if it gets hit. But the hollow doors, they're kind of, and we don't have the money to buy hollow doors.
They cheap. They just cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Like with the doors, they're not inexpensive, but they're cheap made, so they're just hollow doors, so they're easy to mess up.
Right. And so that's a worry because you don't want a big hole in your door where people can peek through the door because we now have a guest living here with
Yes.
us. And so we like to have our privacy.
Yes.
So that's it for today's video. I hope that maybe we provided someone with some information that if the adaptive equipment that they're paying a lot of money for just does not work or whatever, maybe you can try the gloves and the splint and the rims.
Yep.
And you can link them down below.
I can.
Until next time, we will see you in the next video.
All right.
And thank everybody that supports. Bye.
Bye.